deep dives with dogs. Well, today we're going to talk about famed outlaw Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, probably one of the most famous outlaws of the West. Uh, I would say maybe not the famous, most famous, I should say. Probably like about the second most. I'd say Jesse James is considerably more famous, but it's hard to say now. I don't know. I think Billy the Kid's reputation has risen. During his time, he's kind of a mix of things. He's in the East, like New York, places like that. They read like these novels that were kind of started just talking about the West, and that's where we get a lot of the Western mythology of like some of these characters, where they get these little novels written about them, and they're obviously very um, dramatized and things like that. A lot of these outlaws kind of get seen as heroes, like, oh, they're the downtrodden. But they were bad people. Jesse James famously was an awful person, but his reputation has just always been like, oh yeah, he was a good guy. But he definitely wasn't. But Billy the Kid, um, interestingly enough, the day I'm recording this, April 28th, in 1881, he escaped from prison and in New Mexico. He was in a jail cell in New Mexico. He escapes, manages to hide away for quite a few months, until about July. It's like July 18th, where Sheriff Pat Garrett goes into a house that he has been told that the kid is in. He goes in there, and the story is that Billy the Kid comes out, and he says, "Who is there?" in Spanish. He speaks in Spanish because Billy the Kid got along a lot more with the Mexicans. He was very much more in line with them, things like that. Um, so he was with them, but he asks, "Who's there?" in Spanish, or "Who is it?" or at least it's one of those two things. It's either "Who is it?" or "Who is there?" And Pat Garrett, having heard the kid's voice before and recognizing it, fires at the voice, killing famed outlaw Billy the Kid. At least that's one theory. There is some contention that maybe it wasn't Billy the Kid. We just don't know. At this point, we don't know. It's been so long. You know, it's been over 100 years at this point. About 140 years, actually. 140, 45 years? Almost. Been a long time. So, we just don't know. I mean, they can't really prove it at this point. Um, Hard to say. We don't even really know the kid's real name, potentially. He gives a few, he's known by a few names. So the first name, and this is the name he gives in court when he's arrested and tried for murder, he gives the name of William Bonney Jr. And that's the name he was given. And that's what a lot of people think. Maybe that was his real name. We don't know. For sure. We just don't know for sure. Uh, there's also a name, Henry McCarty. There's another name potentially. He was also known maybe by another name, uh, Outlaw Bill. Is it Bill Rush or Bill Bush or Bush Bill or whichever? That was another potential that some historians think. Like I said, we just really don't know. Um, that's kind of the hard part when stories go back about 140 years. You just don't really know 100%. Now, I should say, there is a guy that later claimed to be Billy the Kid. Um, there was some evidence that maybe he was telling the truth, but once again, we don't know. It's hard to say. Now, could Pat Garrett have lied or misrepresented what he saw or been just wrong? It's possible, of course. Pat Garrett was a decent lawman. Um, just hard to say. It really is hard to say. Um, will we ever know the truth? Probably not. Even what Billy the Kid looked like, we don't really know for certain. He has one picture of him that is verified to be Billy the Kid, but that's it. And that's a little bit of a younger photo of him, somewhat. So, who knows? It's always the fun part of these stories. It's like, oh, well, we don't really know. The other thing is, obviously, he's not the only Billy the Kid. There's a lot of Billy the Kids. It was just a popular name. He's not even the first Billy the Kid, so it's not like, oh, people copied him. No, he's one of the later ones. But just a popular name. People like nicknames. Now, I will say the William Bonney name that he gives during trial makes a little bit sense if that is his actual name. Billy, Bill, usually short for William. So it's not impossible to think that that really was his name, and that's why he had the name Billy the Kid, because he thought it fit. Who knows? Uh, we just don't really know. That's what I'm gonna keep saying, because we just don't know. He is a famed outlaw, but he's a little less documented than some of the others. Um, he kind of wanted to disappear, you could say. Kind of succeeded for a while. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you have any ways to improve these videos, leave a comment down below. I read all your comments. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.